Hi universe, welcome to 100 Days Live with Sonya. Again today, of course, with me Sonya from anitasonya.com, and I'm very happy that it is only 2 weeks remains for 100 Days Live with Sonya, but you see the best message that we have here, that we are going to meet on the other event in June, right? Online word streaming for and then today, this is really important what we are going to talk about today. So stay tuned, because yeah, most of us really need this in this kind of condition, during the pandemic, and there are not many things to do when the people lost their job and also lost their business, so that they have to stay strong, right, in this kind of condition. And today we have the expert Debbie Debonaire. Do I pronounce your name well? Or how should I pronounce your name? Debonaire or
it's Debbie Debonaire.
Debonaire. Okay, Debbie Debonaire. It is a really nice name. And she is a global emotional resilience consultant and a holistic counselor. So yes, mental health is really needed a lot today in this kind of condition. And with her background, if you read her bio, it is really amazing about her story, how she overcome her adversity and all of the challenges in life. And that's why I'm very happy that she's here today. I keep her awake, because yesterday she couldn't make it.
No.
And it is it is midnight also in Europe. That's why I feel really happy that she can make it today. And yes, we need to hear a lot from her. That at that time I read that. She felt suicide 3 times. Oh my God, what happened at that time? Why did you want to suicide? Didn't someone try to help you, or didn't you try to seek for help from others or from professionals also?
When I failed the first time, I didn't actually seek help the first time. I was actually brought back home after the failure, and just kind of hid inside myself and pretended it hadn't happened. Was a little bit cross because of the reasons why I wanted to leave this world, and it wasn't for selfish reasons. It was actually for selfless reasons. I had been told many times that I was an unfit mother of my then 7-8-year-old son. And it was drummed into me so much that I convinced myself that I was the toxic person in my little boy's life. And that's why I wanted to leave this world, so that he could have a better life without me, because I'd convinced myself that that's what he needed because
you were taught that way and you believe it. Well, actually, you are a great mother. But what happened at that time? The people thought that you are not a good mother at that time, so it became your trigger.
Absolutely. I mean, I'd been living in victimhood for about 30 plus years of my life, to be honest. I was bullied from the age of 8 years old to 16, physically bullied at school. And at the same time, I didn't realize it at the time, but I was mentally bullied at home. Really derogatory language was used towards me. I was fat, even though I wasn't. I'd never amount to much. I was actually told at the age of 9 years old that I was a mistake and I was a hole in a condom. And that lived with me for a long, long time, that I didn't fit into the family, that I didn't belong into the family. And that was really hard to deal with, dealing with that. And then when I got married at the age of 19, and, you know, thought, yeah, I've escaped it all. And basically it was jumping out of the frying pan into the fire. And the mental abuse continued. And, you know, it was always, you know, who the hell do you think you are? Get down off your pedestal. You'll never make it in life. You're not a fit mum. And all these derogatory terms were thrown at me. And to a point where I spiraled out of control, hit rock bottom, went spiraling into clinical depression. I had agoraphobia, where I couldn't actually go outside. And it's kind of funny how your mind plays tricks on you. And all of my life, until my son was old enough for me to talk to him about it, I always had this impression in my head that my little boy took hold of my hand every morning to get me outside, to get me into the car to take him to school. And then when I got to school, my friend would meet me at the car, get me out of the car. We would walk into the playground. She would stay with me. Then she would walk back to the car. She would follow me home, get me back into the house. And then when it was time for us to go and pick our children back up from school, she would come and collect me, get me into my car, drive to school, get me out of the car, into the playground, and wait for my son to come out. And then it started again. He would take hold of my hand, get me into the car, get me back home, get me out of the car, take hold of my hand, and get me into the house. And later, when I spoke to him, when he was much older, and I spoke to him about it, and he went, "Mum, it was nothing like that." He said, "You were the one that took hold of my hand and took me outside, but because of the state of mind, I was in, that's what I saw. That's what I remember. That my little boy actually got me out of the house." You know, so
Wow, sorry that you've been through that kind of experiences since you were a child, but how can I believe it? Because look at you now, you are beautiful and you are not fat, you are sexy, in my opinion. So how did you decide to be like today, and who helped you at that time to make this decision that you change yourself, and then even today you have other people to build your resilience in life and become the wholeness or holistic consultant and counselor, what I mean.
Yeah, well, what actually happened, I had something what I call my oh shit moment. When I failed, yeah, oh shit moment. Pardon the language, but that's what I call it.
Okay. When I realize myself later, then I will say, "Oh, there is a shit moment." Then I will remember you. There is a nice term. Thank you.
You'll understand where that comes from. Yeah, when I failed my third attempt at suicide, and I woke up being told that I should never ever have survived it. I was very, very angry, really angry. And the reason I was so angry was I was still in that mindset of I was an unfit mother.
Yourself, yes.
You know, I needed to be away from my son. Otherwise, he wasn't going to have, he wasn't going to have the wonderful life that I wanted for him. So I was really, really angry for quite some time. And then I say 2 weeks, but I've really no concept of how long it was after that incident, when I woke up in the middle of the night. In fact, it was around about the time it is now, which is 2:10 in the morning. And I woke up in bed. My ex-husband was gone by this time. Our marriage was over by this time. And woke up and found myself lay on top of the bed, very disheveled. And I looked down and I could feel something in my hand. And I looked down and I was clenching the neck of an empty wine bottle. Now, I wasn't a drinker. I didn't, one glass of wine in a blue moon was what I did as taking alcohol. And it really shocked me when I looked down and saw what it was. But what shocked me even more was that my little boy was asleep next door. And at any point in time through the night, he could have found me in that disheveled state, lying on top of the bed, clutching the neck of an empty wine bottle. And I sat up in bed and I swung my legs round to face where the bedroom door was. And what seemed like in an instant, something really profound happened. And I don't know whether it was a dream, an apparition, a vision. I have no idea. But in that split second, my little boy's face was here. So vivid, as if he was standing right in front of me. And
so he saw it.
But he wasn't actually there. But I saw him.
Oh, it was your imagination.
Yeah, my imagination, a vision, a dream, whatever you want to call it. But it was so real. For me, it was so real. And when I looked into that little boy's eyes and saw the tears streaming down his face, it even gets me now, and he's 29. And I realized that my little boy needed me. And that
yes, I can feel that also. I can see that. I get the message of your story, because even though he wasn't there, actually he knew that he needs you, right? And he didn't want you to leave him, even though many other people, maybe including your family, think that you are not for him, right, at that time.
Exactly. And that was the pivotal point for me, and it made me realize that I had to do something. I had to be here for that little boy, and I needed to.
And you have to change.
To take steps, and I needed to change, and don't get me wrong, it was a very, very difficult journey, And yes, I did reach out to a therapist. In fact, it was a priest, and he did get me through quite a lot, but he also knocked me back quite dramatically, because he stepped over the line of counsellor and client and got feelings for me, and then had to stop counselling me, which kind of knocked me straight back virtually to where I'd been before I started. And I thought, you know what, nothing and no one is going to get in the way of me being the mum that my little boy needed, and giving him the life that he deserved. So I went on a transformational journey, a very emotional journey. One of the first things that I decided to do was to start looking in the mirror, because I hadn't actually looked in the mirror for 9 years.
Wow.
And that was really, really difficult, because I needed to find out who I really was. I needed to find out what was in the way. And I remember, getting up and thinking, right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go and I'm going to look in the mirror. And I got up out of bed, walked to the mirror with my eyes shut, because I knew where the mirror was in my bedroom, and stood in front of the mirror with my eyes closed for about 10 minutes and then walked off. That happened for a few days. And then I got up one day and got to the mirror and opened my eyes and then closed them tight shut and walked away. That happened for a few more days, until eventually I opened my eyes and I saw the person in the mirror. And what I ended up doing was going deeper than just seeing the reflection in the mirror. I actually stared into the eyes of the woman looking back at me. And when you stare into the eyes of that reflection, you end up going into the heart of that person. And I did a lot of talking to that person in the mirror, telling her how much I loved her, how much I appreciated her, and how much she was needed on this earth. And during my my journey through accepting myself for who I was, I actually realized what my purpose was, why I'd been saved, why I'd failed 3 times. And I realized that because I had been able to, from that pivotal moment, move forward and grow in myself and take back my control so that I can live life on my terms. I realized that's what I'd been saved for, so that I could guide, empower, and inspire other women and men to take back their control, to live life on their terms and not be controlled by another person or another thing or, you know, society, but to be able to make your own decisions and have your own freedom to live the life that you desire and you deserve. Because every single person on this earth has a purpose on this earth, and they do have a desire and a deserving of a fulfilled life.
That's true.
You know, and that's my purpose now, and that's what I do every day. And as I went on my journey, I really transformed myself by, first of all, I got a first class honours degree at the age of 47, having never been to university. I then went to university and got a first class honours degree at the age of 47. I then, after that, I went on a 12-day trek of the Inca Trail in Peru and raised £3,500 for a children's disability charity. And I realised that, you know, I could do things in life. I could achieve things in life.
Yeah, you help others also much more than what you experienced before, more and more in each day. How long did it take for you to heal yourself, also with the help of the priest, to clear up everything in the past? And you can accept your past, and then, of course, it is not easy. I also have it, even though it's not, maybe it doesn't sound as bad as what you experience, right? But I believe that, we need time to heal ourselves, to forgive ourselves, as you mentioned, like, and how long did it take for you to do that?
It took me 6 years to see the light at the end of the tunnel. To be strong enough to move forward, to go and do my degree, to go and conquer the Inca Trail, to go then and become a holistic counsellor, to then train in other modalities, to then become a resilience consultant. So, you know, all in all, it probably took me about 12 years, to be fair. You know, it kind of in and out, and every day we grow every single day.
Yeah, and, sure. I agree.
You know, and I created my 9 pillars of emotional resilience and my HeartAct Approach, and they marry together the holistic strategies that I learn and now teach, together with the inspiration and influence of the theatrical world, because every single day, each and every one of us step out onto our own life stage. We write our own life script, and the amazing thing is that life script can be rewritten. You know, every day is a scene in our lives, and we are in control of those scenes, and we can let those feelings, you know, let those scenes develop so that they work for us and not against us. We are our own director, you know, and we can take our life into the direction that we want to take it in. And all of those people that we allow into our lives are the characters in our lives. And we have the choice of removing those in our lives that do not serve us, who do not allow us to align with the person who we truly are. And that's how I guide people through, to realize, you know, they are in control of their life, and they do have choices, you know, and they do have the freedom to be who they want to be, you know. And, you know, I work a lot with domestic abuse. And, you know, when people come to me, they'll say, but how can I get my control back when I am controlled so much by another person? You know, so obviously every single situation is different. Everybody's different. Everybody's circumstances are different. So it's very bespoke. And, you know, we go through what they're dealing with, and we look at, the main thing is people don't realize that they waste a lot of their emotional energy on things that they are not, or that are out of their control. Not that they are out of control, but things that are out of their control. You know, we cannot control what other people say or do about us. What we can control is how we react to it. You know, and I think that is really, really important, to be able to step over the hurdles that we're faced with, you know, and this is where kind of the resilience building comes in, you know, and it's looking at, you know, your awareness of yourself, you know, the courage that you have, the flexibility that you have in your life, the focus that you want to put on your life. And it's self-acceptance, you know, accept yourself the way you are right now in this moment, because if you don't accept yourself the way you are in this moment, you can't grow from it. You know, we spend so much time and so much energy on beating ourselves up
to be someone else also. I agree.
To compare ourselves to someone else, to not be the person that we think we should be. But until you accept yourself, and then, you know, have self-management and manage yourself in the right way, to then be able to have the optimism to go and strive and go and reach for the things you want to reach for, you know, and realize that you do have a support mechanism around you, and reach out for those who are there, who want to support you, who are there for you and not there to be against you, you know. And the thing is, it's taken responsibility. You know, I took responsibility for every single thing that happened for me in life. And, you know, when I say to people, when I was bullied at the age of 8, that happened for me. It didn't happen to me. It happened for me. And people are quite taken aback when I say that. And I say, you know, the thing is, once you realize that everything you go through in life happens for you, you can then grow from it. Because
actually that is not us. Actually, that is the life. We don't need to be that way if we don't want to, and we can make decisions for it, right?
Yeah.
And then why holistic and also the resilience counselor? Why not other fields? Because there are so many other fields that you can also what is it?
Yeah, I do use other modalities.
You can do other modality, right? Besides resilience and also the holistic. I know you have a lot of system to do that also, because they connected each other, right? And then also you can be a therapist too, but I know that is not easy, because sometimes we get the negativity of our clients if we don't filter it right by being a therapist. And then that's why I asked why holistic and also the resilience counselor.
Yeah, the reason I went down those two main routes. I mean, I do have other modalities, but the reason I went down those two routes was when I started to look at myself, I looked at myself holistically. So I looked at my mind, I looked at my body, I looked right deep inside my soul, deep inside my heart, you know, to find who I really was. And I think we need to take a person as a whole and help them holistically through, I did a lot of research on the relationship between the brain and the heart, and the messages that we send back and forth. A lot of people talk about mindset, and it's your mindset and it's your thoughts that need to change. But actually, a lot of it comes from your heart first. There's a lot more messages go from your heart to your brain than the other way around. And
that we ignore sometimes.
And sometimes we ignore those feelings, or sometimes it's not actually that we ignore them, but we don't understand them, and we don't know the effects they have on us. And I actually trained also to be a heart math coach, because I felt there was a missing piece of the jigsaw in everything that I was doing, because I do a lot of trauma therapy work, and I use drama therapy in a lot of what I do. But because of what I do is very bespoke, I have a toolkit of modalities I can dip into, because not one size fits all. Everybody is different. Everybody, I've got clients dealing with domestic abuse, but they deal with it in completely different ways. So I couldn't say, one size fits all, and what I do with this person, I'll do with this person because it'll work. No, not necessarily, because we all feel different. We all think different. We all have different fears. And it's guiding people to understand what fear actually is. And fear is false emotions appearing real. And when we understand that concept of fear, we can work at overcoming our fears. And that's where the emotional resilience comes in, and why I brought together the 9 pillars of emotional resilience, was to show people how they can become more resilient by understanding how our bodies work. Because when you are stressed, anxious, or depressed, your body has things going on, okay? And the autonomic nervous system is the system that 90% of the time, most of the time, is responsible for 90% of the functions that go on around our body. And it's the one that sends all the signals to our brain on what we should and shouldn't do. And what works on our physiology with that autonomic nervous system are 2 very important hormones, which are cortisol, which is the stress hormone, and DHEA, which is the vitality hormone, which expresses those happy chemicals like serotonin and dopamine and oxytocin. And it's when you get those 2 things working in sync with each other, the autonomic nervous system and those 2 hormones on the hormonal system, you can get a much more balanced physiology and psychology. Because resilience, a lot of people don't even understand what resilience is. When you ask someone,
they think resilience is only to survive, right? Or
and a lot of people don't really know what it is, or a lot of people say, oh, it's the ability to bounce back. But it goes a lot deeper than that, and it's having this capacity to be able to prepare for, recover from, and adapt in the face of your stress, your challenges, and your adversity. And that's what I teach people to be able to do. So whatever they are faced with, I get them to a point where they can be in a state of coherence, which means they are running at their optimal level.
And how long is your method HeartAct approach in your program? How long does it take to take it?
Yeah, well, my HeartAct approach, what I did was I split it up into kind of 3 sections. So there's a 3-month group session. Then there's a 6-month one-to-one session, and or group session. It just depends on, where someone's at. And then there's a 12-month program which takes you through the whole system of the whole process of the HeartAct approach, from looking at your current self, looking at the six main areas of your life, incorporating those 9 pillars of emotional resilience to then get you to a point, where you want to be. So I always ask at the very, very beginning, where do you think you are now and where do you want to be? Now, because everyone's different, it'll take different people different lengths of time, and that's why I broke it up. Some people don't like discussing things in a group. Other people feel more confident in a group environment. So that's why I made it flexible like that as well. So it just depends. And I mean, I've done it for 12 months with people, and they've got to a point in their life, but they're not quite where they want to be. And sometimes, we'll do it then for another 3 months, and then another 6 months, and then another 12 months, depending on, because some of them don't realize the baggage they're carrying, the burdens that are weighing them down until they start going through it. Because I hid and buried an awful lot of what I'd been going through. And when I started to kind of unravel it, you then realize that, gosh, I had, a lot more to unravel than I thought. And, it's not necessarily about going back to your childhood or going, and reliving those events in your childhood, because that can be very
therapy,
difficult.
sometimes the people do that to recall the past. Well, actually, to find the problem root, it doesn't need to be that way. Especially in hypnotherapy, right? Sometimes that's why they after they leave the room in hypnotherapy session, they remember the past again, and it is very hurtful, very painful for them. Actually,
very painful. And the thing is,
and sometimes there is like the therapist thing that like the hypnotherapy is only for the people who run away from their problems, and that happens in real hypnotherapy, right? That's why I mentioned that when you do that, then the people remember the past again, while actually they just need to forget it at all, and then it takes a braveness to do that, because we need to accept that instead of running away or escape from the past.
And what happens is, a lot of people actually live their present life in the past, because they're dealing with they're still going through the emotions of the past. So a lot of the time I do more of a timeline. So yes, I take them to the past, but it's to look at the emotions that they went through, so that we can
not the stories, only the emotions. Right? I agree.
Yeah. And those emotions sometimes are the emotions that they're still living with today. And it's helping them deal with those emotions. And that's why I concentrate very much on emotional resilience, because that's where we waste most of our energy. And that's where we get so depleted. And so, when people are stressed, anxious, depressed, they can't think clearly, they can't focus, because they are so depleted and they've got no energy to work from. They don't have the ability to so-called bounce back. They don't have the resilience to get through everyday life. They are completely depleted and feel trapped and feel stuck and don't know how to move forward, because they're so weighed down with those emotions, because they've carried them for so long, and they're still living by them in the moment of today. So I do a lot of mindfulness, I do a lot of in the moment, but I also do a lot of timeline stuff, take people back, see what the emotion was. Yes, we can talk about the cause of the emotion, but does that emotion still have a place in their life today? And then recognizing that actually I don't have that. I don't need to bring that in today, because that doesn't belong here today. So it's so I do have a toolkit of modalities, shall we say, that I bring.
And how what are the steps that we need to in building our resilience based on your experience and of course your method to help your clients?
Well, the steps I take with clients is initially to find out their current self. So we look at the 6 main areas in their life, and we look at where they are in each of those areas, how they feel, what's going on for them in each of those areas, spiritually, emotionally, financially, with family and friends, with relationships, career, where are they in each of those areas. And then when we establish that, we look at which one they want to want to delve into first. It's very much led by the client, because yes, I have a toolkit of modalities, and yes, I can guide you and empower you, but a lot of it comes from within. A lot of it comes from the person themselves, because
and you see their mental health first when they come to you for help, right?
Yeah. And especially the world we're living in today, there is a lot of anxiety. There is a lot of stress. Social anxiety at the moment is rife. People are terrified to go outside in case they're going to catch COVID, and what's happening is COVID's actually controlling their life. They're not controlling COVID. COVID's controlling them. And this is one of the things at the moment.
That's what I see also, yeah.
That's one of the things at the moment that I am helping people to understand, that, it doesn't matter what they say or do. They're not in control of COVID, the pandemic. They're not in control of that. All they're in control of is how they react to it, and how they let it control them. And
because it's in that there is always a new thing coming again and again, and we don't know what that is, right?
Exactly, and it's really encouraging them to take back that control, to say, wasting all of that energy, all of that emotional energy on the things that you are not in control of, or no matter what you say or what you do, you can't affect the outcome. So you can only look at what you can control, and sometimes people actually don't realize what they can control as well, because they've given so much of that control away to something or somebody or society, that they don't realize actually what they're in control of. And once they understand, when I take them through the 9 pillars, for example, and they start to become more aware of themselves, they start to find that courage within. They become more flexible about their life and about what they do in their life, and they change their focus. So the focus changes on what they want in life. What is it that what do they want to move forward to? What are they looking for in life? What do they not want to have?
And also more brave to take a risk.
Absolutely, and self-acceptance and self-management are absolutely huge, because so many people don't accept themselves for the way they are, and they want to be something else. They want to be somebody else instead of looking for the person who's already inside. And when I realized that the person I wanted to be was already inside, I just needed to nurture her and bring her out. That's really powerful for people, because a lot of people have imposter syndrome, have the comparison syndrome where, they compare themselves to somebody else and they want to be like somebody else. Why? Just be yourself and see where yourself can go. Yourself as who you were meant to be may completely excel this person that you're trying to compare yourself with. But until you find who you are, truly and who you're in alignment with.
Yes, I agree.
That's where the comparison syndrome comes from, to be fair, you know. And then it's having that optimism that you can reach where you want to go because you have a choice. You do have choices to make in your life, and you have that freedom of choice as well. A lot of us feel like,
Debbie, but you are saying like you are saying it to me, not to our viewers.
sorry?
But you are saying it like you are saying it to me, not to our viewers also.
I'm seeing
It seems that you
everyone
need
out there.
something from me. I don't know. Maybe we need to have a session then. or you can try the example of creating your session here. That will be okay. I can be the experiment rabbit and I'm ready.
No, and you know, it for me, it's if I can reach just one person and inspire and empower just one person who may be listening to this, then my purpose on this earth has been worth it.
There will be many. There will be many because this video is also on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And Debbie, it is a good message that you share with us today. I know that the time runs very fast, and
it does, doesn't it? Yes, you don't realize.
Let me put this way. Then it seems that you need to join our next event, Online Word Summit in June. I promise it won't be too late for the people in UK. Last night I was in Marco Novo's show, right? Marco Teng last night, and it was my night about 10 p.m. Last night, and he said, please, if you make event, do not make it very suffering for us in Europe. He said that, yeah, but I cannot make everyone happy. This time, it is easy for our speakers in Australia and also in United States, right?
Yeah.
But next time, yeah, it will be easier for the speakers in Europe and United States. But I don't know. We have already sponsors and speakers from Australia, so maybe they are going to protest me for that, for the time zone. But yeah, well, I cannot make everyone happy. Then I really appreciate that you can be here, even though this is your midnight time, to share your values, to share your strategies and experiences, right, in 100 Days Live with Sonya. And do you have any message for our viewers?
The main message I have for everyone out there listening to this is three things. Choose life, choose freedom, but most of all, choose you. That's the important thing.
Wow, thank you so much. I would like to ask deeper, actually, why choose you?
Why I chose me?
Yeah.
Why I chose me? Because I realized after that pivotal moment that I deserved a place on this earth, and so does every single person out there. And another thing that I really want to say is that had I not failed, I would not be now thriving in life. And today I am alive to thrive. And, you know, suicide is not the answer. You know, you deserve the life that you desire.
Yes, and life is very beautiful, and maybe it's not easy, but you see, you should life because pizza is still nice. You need to choose life and live your life, right? Because pizza is still nice.
Yeah. And the thing is, you know, you don't know what life can be like, you know, and until you experience it, you know. But there's always someone there for you to reach your hand out to. So if there is anyone out there, because I am a mental health advocate and I am a suicide prevention advocate, and if there is anyone out there going through the despair of, you know, wanting to remove themselves, please reach out your hand. You deserve the place that you have on this earth. So please reach out your hand. I know it's not
One
easy.
more question, if it is okay. I know that the time runs very fast, and then what do the people need to do when they have the suicide thinking or
Yeah.
idea? What do
When
they
you,
have to do right
when,
away?
when you have those thoughts and feelings, okay, just try and step back, take a deep breath, focus your attention on your heart, okay, and just imagine that your breath is going in and out of your heart area, okay. Breathe in and out of your nose to the count of 5, breathing in, 5 to breathe out, and just allow yourself to just take all that your heart wants to give you and just be there in the moment when you're nice and calm. And when thoughts come in, just let them go. Stay in the moment. Don't think about the next moment, the next day. Don't think about yesterday. Just keep yourself in that moment. And the thoughts that come in, just let them go. Just let them come and go. Don't take heed of those thoughts that are coming in. And just go into that breathing. Just, it grounds you. It grounds you to then be able to have the strength to step forward and say, can someone help me? Can someone guide me? You know, and there are people, there are more people than we know out there with a hand to hold your hand to move you forward. You know, it is not the answer.
Yes, thank you so much. So this is a very important message. That's why I asked it, because I'm going to do the small videos after 100 days live with Sonya for the speakers, for the experts, so that the people who experience the same as the speakers or the expert, they can reach out and ask for help. Thank you so much for being here today. And yes, for you, if you haven't registered to 100 Days Live with Sonya, you can register still as VIP to our coaching universe.anitasonya.com, our coaching universe.anitasonya.com, and you can watch all of the replay. And then I would like to thank our sponsor today, Katie Smith of Ketco Enterprises. Katie Smith of Ketco Enterprises, and she is one of our speakers also. And of course, I would like to thank Ross Brand also from Livestream Universe as our main sponsor. And Debbie, really, it is a really great time for me here, and also listening to your message, and your story is really amazing, and I believe that it inspired the others also. And I know that it is very late there. Please have your rest. And this is weekend. You can pay your sleep after this. Happy weekend then.
Sonya,
thank you so much.
Yeah, Sonya, thank you so much. It's been an absolute privilege too, and an honor to be in your space today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and I'll see you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.